Today marks the first day of the IDEAs Pre-G20 Conference in Johannesburg, where global policymakers, economists and also thought leaders are exploring bold approaches to reshape economic policy from industrial development and financial autonomy in the global south. News Central's senior business correspondent Joanna Mustapha is on the ground with more. Joanna, good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us. What's happening on the ground right now?
Yes, it's my pleasure to be here. And I have with me Professor Patrick Bond. He is a professor at the University of Johannesburg. And he gave a very strong keynote address earlier this morning. I had to get him here to, of course, talk to us. One of the key things you mentioned was, in terms of global governance, the talk right, walk left, especially in relation to sustainability. So tell us a bit more about that and the hypocrisy around that.
In fact, it's talk left, walk right, because there's always a tendency in South Africa, I'm sure Nigerians know this, to brag about our liberation and then to walk, let's say, dirty, but talk green. And so the green sustainability talk is something that's tragic today because the port where we send our coal from South Africa includes a ship that's going to Israel for the fueling of the genocide. At the same time, our President Cyril Ramaphosa has been in New York actively saying, no, we shouldn't be supporting genocide. We must have a boycott against Israel. In fact, Nigeria sends Israel 9% of the oil that it uses. So in Africa, we have to really get strong and make sure that sustainability is for future generations, for the environment, and for the Palestinians. And I think this is the big problem in a group like the G20, where you've got imperialist powers, the West, the G1, the US, which is breaking away in all sorts of things like the climate summit. And you've got the G6, that is Europe, Japan, Canada. Then you've got the group of sub-imperial, the next layer of powerful actors. Some of them are in BRICS, and of course Nigeria is a partner to the BRICS. But the dilemma is we don't expect much sustainability either here in Johannesburg in late November or early November in Brazil when they have the climate summit, the COP30.
Mm-hmm. So talk left, walk right is what is happening right now, as opposed to talk left, walk left. Let's also talk about the tilt. It's been a conversation here. The tilt of, trade in favor of the US and how Africa should move in relation to that.
I know, it's so tragic. It's a period when Donald Trump has acted as a dictator, imposing, in fact, irrational rules. For Brazil, it means that they are not allowed to prosecute the past president who was trying to organize a coup. That was Jair Bolsonaro. He was prosecuted, found guilty last week, and so the U.S. has put a 50% tariff. And for India, even though the U.S. is importing uranium from Russia, because India imports oil and gas from Russia, they're getting the 50% tariff. Now, some African countries are down to 10% or 15%. South Africa was hit with 30%. We think it's largely because there's racial justice legislation here. There is support for Palestine, at least rhetorically. And also Elon Musk, who came from very close by here, was also very involved in that early round of tariffs to punish South Africa because we would force him to have a black partner when he brings the Starlink here.
Interesting. So Africa should be moving in the right direction, hopefully. Thank you very much for your thoughts, Professor Patrick Bond, here in Johannesburg.
Thank you very much, Joanna Mustapha.